So today we're going to be testing out sooner. Sorry, not sooner. We're going to be looking at the R2 leaks from DeepSeek, analyzing those, testing them out, seeing what happens next. And additionally, we'll be looking at some other ideas as well. So we'll come on to that in a second, including a new tool that looks like a really cool sort of one-click MCP agent. But I'll come on to that in a second, exactly how it works, etc. And yeah, if you haven't seen like the latest DeepSeek updates, it's pretty wild stuff. So essentially what's happened is there's a new leak like you see inside the image here, and this information was leaked across like a bunch of investment forums about DeepSeek R2. I'll come on to that and what the evidence means and what the alleged specifications are and that sort of thing in a second. It is super interesting because essentially what you're seeing here is like some big updates, not just in terms of the performance of DeepSeek R2, which is pretty big, pretty massive, but also there's some wild changes here in terms of where they're sourcing their chips from. If this information is true, if it's not fake news. I'm also going to be showing you a new one-click AI agent that is absolutely awesome for MCPs. So we'll come on to that later. It's probably the best way I've seen to integrate MCPs and to use MCP agents in your workflows. But we'll come on to that later and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So let's get into this. What am I talking about and what does this relate to? So essentially, there's been some new leaks on DeepSeek R2, and today we're going to be separating the fact from fiction in AI's most controversial leak this year, I would say. So essentially these leaks, and I'll show you the timeline in a minute, came around the end of this month. And essentially, we'll be covering, okay, what the leaks actually claim, the evidence, a timeline of events, and insights into what we can realistically expect. So let's run through the alleged R2 specifications. And by the way, if you're wondering, like, where does this guy get his news from? Like, where is this actually coming from? So it's been leaked across, like, Reddit, Medium, Twitter as well. And I'll come on to some of the reactions here. You can see the article from Tech Power Up right here in terms of what's been announced, what's been released, etc., and what we can expect. And also, you can see here, but what's really interesting is that apparently, according to this, they're going to be using Huawei chips instead of NVIDIA for DeepSeek R2. Now, we can also see the leaked information here. This is a good article from Monica IM on exactly what they mean, what the new parameters mean, etc. So one of the biggest announcements here as well, according to these leaks, bear in mind they're leaks, so it's not officially confirmed news, but essentially what you can see here is that they're saying there's going to be a total active parameters of 1.2 trillion, which is absolutely insane. And also a lot more resource allocation, efficiency, and multimodal as well. Okay, the other big news here is, like, apparently according to these leaks, and again, these leaks, they might be fake news, so be careful where you get your news from. Take it with a pinch of salt until it's officially confirmed by the official resources, and I'll come on to that exactly how you can figure that out in a later part of this video. But essentially 97% cheaper than GPT-4o, which is absolutely massive. So let's run through these leaks and what they mean in terms of the alleged DeepSeek R2 specifications. So per the leaks, right, there's 1.2 trillion parameters with a hybrid mixture of experts MOE 3.0 architecture, right? Apparently it's also going to be up to 97.3% cheaper than GPT-4o Turbo. And if you look at the prices here, the comparison, so it's $0.07 per million input tokens according to the DeepSeek R2 leaks versus 0.27 per million output tokens. Now, I'll come on to like how to evaluate the news, whether it's real, what the community is saying, etc. But first of all, let's run through what these announcements have been considered, because you'll see all sorts of YouTube videos and news coming out in a second, I think. So also you can see here 5.2 petabytes of training data, right, with 89.7% scores on the seat evaluation suite and breakthrough vision abilities, as well as, and this is one of the most interesting things, especially with all the tariff news that's going on in the world right now, you can see here they've said that the hardware for DeepSeek R2, so this is trained on like Ascend, Huawei Ascend 910B accelerators, right? And these are basically like a way of bypassing the need for NVIDIA chips, right? So obviously NVIDIA, they dominate the chips market. It's a US-based company. It's big on the S&P 500. And, you know, China and US have this tariff war going on. And they've said, according to the leak, that the hardware being used will be Huawei, not NVIDIA this time. And edge deployable as well. So there's a big size reduction with 8-bit quantization, apparently again. So what does this mean? Well, the game changer claims here are that this could make full-scale enterprise LLM deployment 10 to 100 times cheaper than existing models. Also, they're aiming to position China as AI sovereign, let's be honest, because if they're using Huawei chips instead of NVIDIA chips, and that's a way of saying, like, listen, China's dominating the AI market right here. And then it also sets a new high bar for reasoning because obviously it performs much better. And let's talk about the evidence pointing to fake news, all right? So again, not many people are going to be transparent with you on YouTube or communities or anything like that. So I just want to break it down for you in terms of the news and that sort of thing. So essentially, there is a lack of credible sourcing here. So, you know, most of these leaks originate from like Chinese finance and stock trading forums. They're not like verified insiders or proven technical sources, or like the official Twitter account of DeepSeek R2. It's like, these are just random leaks that are posted across the internet, and they're mostly in Chinese. Additionally, one conspiracy claim behind this is that they're using stock market manipulation to post about DeepSeek R2, right? So a lot of these Chinese posts about the DeepSeek R2 leaks relate to specifically referencing and promoting concept stocks, right? So it's kind of like these concept stocks are being promoted to boost their prices because they're being associated with DeepSeek R2, if that makes sense. And that kind of raises a lot of red flags, as you can imagine, about the intent of the leaks. Also, there's a bunch of like technical plausibility issues, so there's a bunch of loopholes and plot holes that don't quite make sense up here, right? So number one, the timeline doesn't quite add up, right? So if you look at when DeepSeek R1 came out and then the gap between then and now, there's really insufficient time for training a 1.2 trillion mixed architecture, right? Unless it's like insane software we've never seen before, and you know, this is absolutely changing the world, which, you know, could be. It doesn't really add up. It doesn't quite make sense, if that makes sense, in terms of the timelines. Additionally, the training data. So it claims 5.2 petabytes, which is ridiculously higher than leading labs. I'll come on to that in a minute, and I'll come on to like what it actually looks like when you put this on a chart and you compare the benchmarks, because it's wildly different. And then additionally, the benchmark claims, right? So they're saying it's earth-shattering for benchmarks for vision, but these cited numbers like vastly exceed state-of-the-art figures. So it's kind of like, okay, this doesn't quite make sense plausibility-wise. The stock market manipulation is kind of a weird vibe right there, and also a lack of credible sources. On top of that, DeepSeek's own public accounts on Reddit have labeled the rumors as false news. So bearing that in mind as well. And then finally, you know, a lot of experts are saying like this is total BS right here, according to this account on Twitter. And you can see some of the reactions here. So someone actually said, this is a fake rumor originating from a Chinese stock trading community. It has no credible sources to back it up yet it mentions certain related stocks. It's clearly fabricated to manipulate stock prices. That was coming from a Reddit user. I'm not saying whether it's true or not. Honestly, for me, like, I don't believe anything until I see the official news. And even then, when I see the official benchmarks and that sort of thing, doesn't matter which company it is, I'm going to, like, analyze it critically and say, okay, you know, like, this doesn't seem right. Let's see what it happens. See what happens next, all right? So let's keep going through now. So, yeah, basically the consensus here is, like, until independently verified by DeepSeek or trusted benchmarks, I would just treat them as like entertaining fiction or nice rumors that kind of sprinkle a little bit of truth about what might happen in the future, but right now, nah. And then you can see like, okay, here's the details of the announcement. Now, this is all translated from from Chinese to English. So you can see here it's recommending like some of the stocks and that sort of thing. And these are the Chinese communication. This is the announcement, the DeepSeek data, apparently. So let's look at the timelines. So late April, it gets announced. Multiple AI news channels and YouTube channels cover this. Then a bunch of people around 27th or 28th of April are voicing skepticism about authenticity now. And also on, ongoing. There's no real like public release. Although I would expect DeepSeek R2 to get released within the next couple of months, like minimum, if it was me personally. Right? And Val, shout out to Val, says, I love leaks and I have a star against my name. Shout out to Val, absolute legend in the community. Thank you so much for watching our videos. All right, so let's keep going now. What can we actually expect from DeepSeek? Like, what's actually going to happen, and how do we separate fact from fiction? Well, I mean, number one, they do have like a lot to invest into AI, R&D. I think the next model is going to be absolutely amazing if the last one is anything to go by. Additionally, I do expect like more reasoning models, right? So I would expect something that is going to be state of the art, that is going to be very, very cheap, and will be super powerful for reasoning, right? I think that's undeniable when it comes to DeepSeek R2. Bear in mind, like, there's so much competition now. You've got Llama, you got Google, you've got OpenAI, you have DeepSeek, and you have even Mistral and people like that competing, right? So the more competition there is in the market, the more the standard gets raised overall if you want to remain competitive. So it's good for everyone. Let's keep going now. And additionally, here's the other thing is like, this is very interesting, right? Right now, you got tariffs going on, you got the stock market and in the US dropping, and you've also got this kind of like trade war between China and the US. And obviously, AI is very powerful technology, but it requires a lot of power to run it, right? And so you've got this battle between China and Nvidia for chips. So I would imagine that they are going to be more domestically focused when it comes to compute power. So they might be using Huawei or other Chinese accelerators instead of using Nvidia. But we'll see how that goes for now. And then faster iterations. So I can imagine like it's going to scale faster. It's going to be much better. I mean, DeepSeek R1, it still breaks on the website from time to time. So who knows what's going to happen next. And then there will be releases from DeepSeek within the next few months. But I would just wait for the actual real accounts to promote them. So, for example, what you can do, like I was saying, I promised this earlier to you. So, if you want to check where the latest releases are coming from, that sort of thing, then just go on to the Hugging Face profile for DeepSeek. And this is like the official account, right? And you can see all their releases, their official releases. So, if you want like the latest white papers, the latest news, etc., you can see like they updated this on March the 27th. So, it's an updated account and it's an official one. This is probably the best way to get the latest news. So you can go to Hugging Face or you can go to their GitHub, right? They have 75,000 people following it. You can follow it too. And then you can see the latest releases here, including, for example, like DeepSeek R1, DeepSeek V3, VL2. They also have DeepSeek 3.124, I think it is, that's just come out this year. So, I would monitor those places for the latest news rather than like some Chinese investing community, right? So, they are super fascinating. It's a very well-crafted viral rumor campaign. It's blowing up. But if you see videos about this or you see news about it and you're like, okay, what's actually going to happen? I would just consider them likely fictitious, likely fueled by stock market activity and a little dash of copium about AI progress. But it's still a reminder that, there's a lot of competition here. And it's going to get very, very interesting over the next few months. So that's basically it. Now, if you want to get all of the latest news, SOPs, templates, workflows, etc. Just very quickly, before I move on to the next thing, check out the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. It's just an awesome community you can join to make more money and save time with AI. So if you want to scale your business, if you want to take advantage of the real latest releases and exactly what's happening right now and what's working right now, including how I built this report, by the way. This report was built with an AI super agent that I've actually got inside the AI Profit Boardroom right here, inside GenSpark section. And we have a full tutorial, plus examples and an SOP of how to use GenSpark if you want to build this stuff out, right? So I would recommend, check out that. The AI Profit Boardroom is absolutely amazing. Plus, it's just a great community of people. The reason I keep pushing and keep learning every day, because, it's relentless, the barrage of updates, rumors, and new releases, and new tools, etc. The reason that I keep pushing and learning all the time and updating is because of this community. It keeps my finger on the pulse in terms of what's working, what's happening right now, etc. Right? And you can see we're constantly releasing new updates. This was just from a few days ago. You see all this stuff added recently. So feel free to get that link in the comments description, and we will move on to the next thing. All right, which is This is a really cool tool. If you're interested in like MCPs, one-click agents, etc., you got to check this out. So what I want to show you now is something super interesting called Lutra. And Lutra is a one-click AI agent, like you can see right here. You can actually use it for free. So you get 15 messages per day for free if you want to get access to it. And essentially, you can get access to all these different tools that you can then connect as an AI agent to build stuff and send stuff and create stuff, right? So you can see here, for example, it's connected to my Google Drive, Google Docs, etc. And we can toggle all these things on. We can also change the settings right here. And this is probably the easiest way to create and leverage like MCPs and tools with an AI agent. So what you can do here, for example, is you can go inside Lutra, inside the chat, and then you can start building stuff out. So for example, like we could just organize our emails and that sort of thing. So let's test this out now. I'm going to show you exactly how to set it up. You also get a bunch of like interesting little playbooks as well directly here, which is super interesting. But essentially, Lutra is like the first MCP compatible client built for everyone, right? So, you know, if you're using something like Visual Studio Code, if you're using something like, you know, Terminal to launch these MCPs, or even Claude Desktop is quite technical to set up, whereas this one, it's just like, you click a button, you can automate all your tasks and that sort of thing, right? It's really simple and easy to set up. So if you want to get started, you can go to the chat here at lutra.ai. And then inside the chat here, you can start building stuff and start chatting with stuff, right? So there's 3 ways that you can set up MCPs. Number 1, you can connect your own MCP server, so you can easily set that up. Number 2, you can actually set up like third-party MCPs as well. And then additionally, you can set up like native integrations, right? So if we go inside the tool section before, you can easily set this up. So let's get straight into this, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. So if you go to the tool section over here, you can connect these MCPs, or you can add an MCP server like this, or you can also add custom integration, right? So if you've got your own sort of MCP that you want to set up, you can go inside here and start adding it. Otherwise, what you can do is you can go inside the MCP server section here, and then you can connect your MCP directly. All right, so you would just connect the HTTPS URL for the MCP server you want to use. What's quite interesting is like you can actually connect even like PayPal and stuff like that. So if we click on use this server, we can connect PayPal. We'll click on that. Now we can log into our PayPal account and connect that. So I'm just going to do that in the background. Then we're just going to authorize this. As you can see, and then we just have to agree and connect. Let's do that. It literally takes like a few seconds and a few clicks to get this set up. It's way easier than, I don't know if you've ever tried to set up, for example, like the Stripe MCP. It's quite a lot of work, right? So you can now see that PayPal and the MCP setup was created right here. And this is pretty cool because you can now create like PayPal invoice links with like detailed billing information. You can retrieve like PayPal transactions, and this is all integrated in like a couple of clicks. Like we didn't have to do anything technical at all. It's absolutely insane. So if we click on use this MCP integration right here, we can say like, okay, tell me what you can do with PayPal and invoices and transactions. Let's click on that, see what we get back. It will take a while to load because it's using the thinking model here as well. So you can see it identifies like the available PayPal tools. Then it's like, right, the user wants to know what I can do with PayPal invoices and transactions. Looking at the tools available, here's what I can do. And then it lists it here. So this is kind of like the thinking mode, kind of like what you would get inside Claude, you know, Sonnet and that sort of thing. And then it's like, right, I can help you with PayPal invoice and transactions using these capabilities. So you can list PayPal transactions, or you can create PayPal invoices, which is really cool, right? So for example, if I say, okay, here's my company details, right? Create a $500 invoice link for this. And we'll put service equals SEO link building. And I'm just going to put in the instructions and prompts right there, create a $500 PayPal invoice link for this, just to make it very clear to the AI. We'll paste that in. And I'll put all the prompts inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to get access to this stuff. What's also cool is it kind of like figures out the email address for you, like you can see right here, which is quite interesting. And it just grabs all the data that you've got and then creates the invoice. It also gives you a countdown here, so you can see how much time is remaining. And it literally created that in like, what, 13 seconds? It's crazy. And look at that. So we've got the PayPal invoice ready to go. It's like you can share the link with your client to request payment. The invoice will automatically set a due date from 30 days from today, right? And so this is crazy stuff. So it's literally gone into my PayPal account, taken all my details from my account, connected the MCP without like any sort of technical stuff, plugged it into an invoice like you can see right here, and then the client can just go off and pay, right? And so, you know, something that would normally take maybe finance assistance, something like that. So we have a finance team in the business. Like if they were creating invoices, they might mess around for like, I don't know, it might take them 10 or 15 minutes to create something like this. Whereas you can just get your sales team, for example, to go into a chatbot from here, create the PayPal invoice, they plug in the details, it's really simple and easy, and the invoice is ready to go, right? There's no messing around there. So really cool stuff. I just want to check this actually works. So yeah, it's taking our business name, the email address. We can download the invoice as well. That is so much easier than just going into PayPal and figuring everything out. So I really like that. Now that was just one example. You can also click on the what would you like to do next section. So you can see, for example, we can view my recent PayPal transactions, create another invoice with different details, or create an invoice with a specific due date, discount, or tax. Right, so you could add like a discount inside the details here. One thing you just want to make sure you do is add in your actual company email address when you're using this for PayPal, but you can see how easy it is. I'm surprised PayPal actually don't have that implemented themselves. It's so much better and easier than using the interface. It's crazy. All right, so let's go back to the tools section. Let's see what else we can implement here. So we've got custom integrations as well. You can also, for example, like implement pipe dream and stuff like that. So this is pretty cool because it adds all the APIs from pipe dream. So you can see all the MCP servers here, and then you can just implement that directly into Lutra, which is absolutely wild, right? So you can find all the MCPs from pipe dream and then plug that into Lutra, which is really, really cool. Makes it a lot easier. This is another example. So this is a demo with MCP, and it's basically using, you got here, for example, you are using PayPal along with Google Sheets. So again, like in the demo, they're connecting PayPal super simply. Then you use that, and you can, for example, like take the spreadsheet data and update the Google Sheet, right? So it's like, right, we're going to create the PayPal invoices using the Google Sheet data like that. And so it's really easy to just connect like one app to another. I don't know if you ever tried using Zapier and stuff like that, but it's super time consuming. This is way easier. And you can do it all in like one click because you just tell it, okay, create an invoice or set this up or whatever. And I would say, like, if you're not technical, this is probably the easiest way to get this stuff set up. So let's go back here, and we're going to test something else out now. So we've got the calendar connected. I just want to check the settings here. So we'll connect it to Google APIs. So you just click connect to Google APIs, and then we just have to add a couple of things here. So I'm connected to my account in the background, and then it will show you, okay, what do you want to connect here? So we're going to select all, click continue. And essentially what you're doing here is just adding loads of different tools and apps to your chatbot, right? Which is going to make it a lot easier to like empower it and connect to different apps without having to mess around. I mean, you just can't do that inside ChatGPT and other stuff. So using this agent, it's kind of like what I always hoped ChatGPT could do, but didn't. So I'm going to go inside the Gmail settings here. We'll connect this as well. Again, in your settings, you're just going to select all here and then click continue. And then you can see all the tools that it can actually do. So for example, like composing emails, labeling, modifying, etc. Right? And so just to be clear here, we've got like the calendar selected, we've got PayPal, we've got Gmail, etc. So this is going to be super interesting. I want to test something out now. So, and bear in mind, like I've done all of this with just 3 messages, right? And you get 15 for free per day. So it's actually quite a lot. Like it's quite a generous allowance, and you can do whatever you want with it. So if we go now to PayPal, I want to test this out and see if we can actually use it. I'm going to say, okay, send this link via email to vic@juliangoldie.com using the Google MCP. Then create a calendar event to chase up Vic 1 week later. In my calendar. Alright, so essentially, just to explain what I'm trying to attempt here, we've created the invoice link automatically using the PayPal MCP. Then we're using the email tool to email this guy with the details about the invoice. And then hopefully, if this works, we're going to create a calendar event inside our calendar to chase that person up, like in 7 days later, something like that. So we'll hit enter and see what this does. What you can also do here is, like, once you've done this, for example, and you can see it's sending the email now, which is crazy how good this is. But once you've done that, you can actually create the playbook, right? Now, what that means is, like, if you have a certain workflow that you're just using over and over again, you can create that playbook and then just rerun it anytime. So if you have certain workflows that you just want to automate, then you can do that in one click using this process. And you can see here again, this is an awesome one-click AI agent, because essentially what you're doing here is you're just automating everything through the chat, and you're just like, right, boom, create a PayPal invoice link for me. Okay, now send that email. Okay, now create a calendar reminder to chase that person up, right? And you can see how easy and fast it is to just connect this AI agent to everything. And all of a sudden, it's like 100 times more powerful because it's connected to your apps, right? And you don't have to do any messing around with APIs. You don't have to mess around with, for example, like N8N workflows, which is a bit of a nightmare. And it just does the tasks like perfectly first time around. It's insane. So let's check this has worked. I mean, inside the calendar here, it said create a calendar reminder and also send the email. Let's just double check that's actually worked. Wow, this is crazy. So if we pull up my sent inbox here, we'll go to the emails that were sent, and you can see it says PayPal invoice for SEO link building. He's actually written the email, figured out the subject line, blasted the link out. You've got the invoice link right there. And it's like, right, I'm sending you the invoice for the SEO link building service. Please use this link to complete the payment. Thank you for your business, blah, blah, blah. And you've basically automated your finance team in like one click. And that's just like a tiny, tiny little thing of what you can do. It's so cool. It's so cool. All right, now let's just check the calendars. I just want to make sure that the calendar event has been added. So we'll check that in a second as well. So if we go over to my calendar over here, this is me, Julian Goldie. And if we check, the calendar has been sent right there, right? So it says follow up on the SEO link building invoice sent to Vic. Invoice link here is scheduled that in for 7 days later. So that's Monday, the 5th of May. And we just automated that in like one click inside the chat. It's absolutely insane. So you can see how easy and powerful this is. I mean, you could save that as a playbook. So for example, we could click on create playbook here, and it says, please plan out what we've done as a playbook to reuse, right? So you can save the workflow and go, right, let's come back to that later. Let's do that again, right? And so it creates this nice little playbook that you can then come back to inside the playbook section here and just rerun that. Let's say, for example, you've got to do this for all your clients, like every Monday. Okay, boom, there you go. So it plans it out into like a step-by-step SOP, but then it also has that workflow automated so you can come back to it each time as well. Pretty wild. And then if we click on view, we can click on view over there. There we go. And you can also share this, right? So if I share that link now, and I'll put this inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you just want to steal this stuff from me. So I'm going to copy that. And then you can share your workflows with people as well. You can delete it if you need to as well. And then if you want to steal the prompts from me, let me put that into the prompt section over here. So we'll close that. So just to be clear here, let's run through what we've done so far. So we've used Lutra AI, one-click AI agent, to automate creating PayPal invoices, to connect MCPs in one click, to connect multiple different tools, including Gmail and Google Calendar. And then what we've additionally done is automated the creation of emails, sending them, and also follow-up calendar events. On top of that, what we've also done is then turn that into a step-by-step SOP and workflow, like you can see right here, and save that workflow so that you can just come back to it whenever you need to rerun and automate that task. How insane is that? And again, this literally takes just a couple of clicks to do. I mean, I'm on the free plan here. I've only used 6 out of 15 messages. I'm probably not going to use 15 today, right? So like before anyone complains, oh, this is not free, blah, 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 you can use it for free. And you can see I'm using it for free right there. All right, so let's keep going now. So here you can also enable internet search. So we can connect this AI agent to the internet as well. And I think that's already connected, so you don't need to mess around with that. And then you can connect it to Twitter, which is pretty cool. So we can actually click on connect to Twitter over here. And this can read, write, etc. We'll authorize that right now. So we've connected it to Twitter right now. And then this is going to be a really interesting workflow, right? And actually something super actionable for pretty much any single business that wants to get more leads, more customers, etc. Because this is how we use Twitter pretty much every day, right? So what I'm going to do here is inside the chat, I'm going to say, okay, search the internet for the latest AI updates. Do some research on the last 7 days of AI news. Break that down into a quick bullet pointed list. Write as Alex Hormozi. And then draft a tweet for me to send out based on this. Make it super useful and valuable. Right. Now, because this is connected to the internet already inside the tool section, it can do the research kind of like Perplexity can, but then it can also connect to Twitter and start posting for us as well. So you can see here how it's actually getting the latest AI news for us and formatting it into Alex Hormozi style, right? Searching the web, it's looking through all these sources. It gives you a little time remaining section here. So obviously it's doing a bit of like deep research, I would say, and that's why it's going to take like a minute or so to actually complete that. And then it's gathered all this information, like you can see, and it's extracting the key news points. So this is the research on the right hand side, and then this is the information that it's turning into a post, right? So it's extracting and creating the Alex Hormozi style tweet. So you're basically at AGI level here, right? Like, what can this do? What can't this do that a human can? That's what I would ask you. Very little, right? It's a crazy super agent. So it's creating the point now. You can see he's drafting that Alex Hormozi style tweet. You can also send this over to docs if you want to. That's a tweet, as you can see right here. So it's like, right, AI moves fast. Here's what you missed this week. Blah, blah, blah. Then you can like customize it. That's why I'd recommend getting it in draft first before you actually post it out. So you want to just get a draft of it first, then figure that out later. And then we can say, okay, make this less generic, more specific, you know, add information about, for example, let's see what we got here. Let's add, for example, information about what we got on the latest releases here. DeepSeek R2, Sooner AI Super Agent we could put in. What else? Tray AI update. Open AI's GPT image 1 release. And what else? Yeah, that'll do for now. All right. And then I'll say make each line like a news headline, e.g. And we'll take an example like that. And I'll say you can make the tweet longer if you want. Now it's created the example right here. And so what we're going to do from here is I'm going to say, okay, let's just edit it slightly. So we've got the draft, which is great. That saves us a lot of time. Let's see if this works. So I'm going to say tweet this out. And now you can see it's posting to Twitter directly. and it said, I've already posted the tweet for the user. The tweet was posted out, blah, blah, blah. Here's the ID. Boom shakalaka. I actually blocked Twitter to make sure that I don't get distracted. But yeah, it just tweeted out for me. Nice and easy. That is crazy stuff. And then if we open up Twitter now, we click on latest. So I've typed in Julian Gold SEO latest. You can see the tweet right here. It's already reached like 15 people. How crazy is that? It says it takes all the information. If we click on show more, we can see the tweet, and we literally just automated that in a few clicks using this process. All right. So just to recap here, and we've only done this in 10 messages. It's ridiculous, but we have automated PayPal invoices, sending emails, scheduling events, scraping content from the web, doing deep research, and also creating tweets and then posting them out directly onto the platform. I don't know any other tool that makes it that easy to do this stuff. It's absolutely insane. Again, you can connect like tools, apps, your own MCPs. You can create your own MCP server with stuff that you want to show and then insert it directly in here. It's awesome. So it's completely free as well. You can see here, I've not spent a penny doing any of the stuff that I've shown you right here. So feel free to get that at lutra.ai. I'm going to include all the prompts and the SCP directly from today inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to get access, and cheers for watching. By the way, if you want to check out the AI Profit Boardroom, you can get it link in the comments description. It's community focused on making money and saving time with AI, and it will basically show you how to scale your business with AI. Additionally, inside the community here, you can ask any questions you have if you ever get stuck, get some help, etc. And there's all these different courses, templates, workflows, etc. that you can steal from us. We update it with the most groundbreaking stuff. I don't know anyone else who shows this stuff like we do. You know, we're publishing and creating content every single day about the latest updates, and you can find this stuff directly inside here. Additionally, inside the calendar, you'll find weekly Q&A calls. Like if you're like, oh, I need some help in real time, or there's this problem that I'm struggling with, etc. Then you can ask inside the AI Profit Boardroom on the Q&As live. And if you can't make the Q&As, you can watch back the recordings inside the